Hey, how's it going everyone? Today we're going to be making a guide video with tips and tricks on how you can get better at CSGO in 2021. If you guys have been following me for a while, you would notice that my first video on this channel is a CSGO video. It is actually one of the first times I've played CSGO.
Alright, let's start this recording. This is gonna be the first time I'm gonna be playing CSGO, bro. Let's see how it comes out.
Since then, I've been playing CSGO with my friends and I've been having a lot of fun playing CSGO. I am in no way a pro, but I'm still learning a lot about the game. I have recently gone over $100 playing CSGO on my account, and I thought it would be a good idea to show what I have learned throughout those 100 hours. So, without further ado, these are 5 things you need to know to get better at CSGO as a beginner in 2021. Alright, for these tips, I'm mainly going to be talking about playing in competitive and how to improve on that. Starting with tip number 1. Map callouts. On this tip, you're going to want to make sure you know common callouts for most of the maps in the competitive pool. Really quick, I'll do a rundown of each map that's in the competitive pool, starting with Mirage, Inferno, Overpass, Vertigo, Nuke, Train, and Dust 2. Though I'm mainly going to go over a couple of maps since these are the maps that are the most played. First, we're going to be starting with Mirage. We will start on the A site, where there's T-Ramp, Palace, Balcony or Heaven. Below it is called Hell, Ticket Booth, Stairs, and Jungle. Now, in the middle of the map, we have Cat, Top Mid, Window, Connector, and Underpass. Finally, we're on the B side. Some common callouts you're going to want to know are B apps, Van, Bench, Market, Short, and Arches. Next on this list we have Inferno, and some common callouts for A side are Middle, Alt Mid, Back Alley, Stairs, Apps, Long Hall, Balcony, Pit, Arch Side, Arch, Library, and Kitchen. Now for B side, we have T-Ramp, Banana, Car, CT Alley, Coffins, and Church. Finally, the last map we're going to be talking about is Dust 2. Some important callouts you're going to want to remember on the A side of the map are Outside Long, Long Doors, Pit, Long A, Car, and Cat. Now for mid, we have Top Mid, Xbox Mid Doors, and Lower Tuns, or Tunnels. For the B side, we have B Plat, Window, B Car, and Upper Tuns. That would be it for the callouts. As you can see from the map shown, there are a lot more callouts, but these are the main callouts for these 3 maps. Also, I wanted to mention that some people might call some callouts different, which might be confusing, but give it time and you will know every callout in the game. Tip number 2, positioning. For this tip, it is something that comes with experience, but nonetheless, it is still something that is important to learn when you're first starting out. I feel as if positioning will be one of the most important concepts you will need to learn once you're trying to rank up in CSGO. The biggest tip I could give you is try to position yourself somewhere where you have a lot of one-on-one engagements with enemies. For example, let's say you're holding a lane. When you're holding that lane, you want to try your best to position yourself somewhere that's an off angle and that maximizes your one-on-one engagements with enemy players. For example, New Box in Inferno. Here's a very strong spot to hold as a CT or after planning, since you can isolate players. For example, if we have a player at conference, we could take this player out first while being safe from both CT and another player that is going to be coming from banana. Next, we would want to take the gunfight from the player that is by orange, since we would not be visible from the player that is in this corner. Now the last player would be in a one-on-one engagement, and then we could peek out from new box to get the final kill. Another important part of positioning is making sure you're always changing your position. Now, I don't mean go from bomb site A to bomb site B. I mean move to another position once you have killed an enemy player if possible. Make sure if you're here at conference holding the angle, you might want to hold the angle for another second after you killed an enemy to make sure no other enemy is pushing that angle. Whenever you can, you might want to move to the position like new box to catch your enemy off guard. Tip number 3, movement and peeking. On this tip, you're not going to want to be moving a lot, since moving affects your aim. You want to make sure your accuracy is as accurate as possible. So if you move more, your accuracy is going to be a little bit off and it's going to throw your aim off. You want to make sure that you only move when it's needed. You will be somewhat accurate when you're standing still, though you are more accurate when you're crouching. If you move in any direction, what you're going to want to do is counter-strike, to have your character come to a complete stop and fix your accuracy. For example, let's say you're moving right with D, you're going to want to make sure as soon as you stop, you tap A to have your player come to a complete stop. Though your movement is different depending on what gun you have. For example, in the pistol round, you're probably going to want to move as much as possible since you don't have much accuracy drop off whenever you're moving. Another gun class you might want to move around with a lot is the SMGs, since they also do not take much of a hit when it comes to moving and shooting. One of the best guns that's an example of this is the MP9. Now if you have a rifle, you're probably going to want to keep your movement to a minimum. When you are using an op, you are almost never going to want to move since it takes a while to cock back your gun once the op shot is taken, and op shots are really inaccurate if you are moving while shooting. Now, we're going to be talking about peeking, and you want to make sure most of the time you're peeking hard and wide. If you slow peek and your enemy's holding that angle, they will have an easy kill since you're taking your time whenever you're peeking. The only time it's kind of acceptable to slow peek is when you're maybe flanking the enemy and they have no idea where you might be at. It can be safer since you're not going to want to be making any sound, but it's a risk sometimes you need to take. Make sure you peek wide and have your enemy hit a tougher shot if they're holding a specific angle, since you want them to move their crosshair. When you are peeking, you are generally going to want to be as far away as possible from the wall. This makes it easier so that you are behind cover easier once you finish your peek. Also make sure to peek with the right side of your player model since the left side of your player model is the more exposed side in CSGO. Tip number 4, smokes. This tip can be important at lower ranks, but it's essential once you reach the higher ranks. After a while playing the game, you're going to want to make sure you know your smokes. Smokes are generally used to either delay a push from your opponent or block their line of sight. Take this as an example, as a commonly used smoke and Dust 2. This blocks the line of sight from your opponent, which will allow you to cross to a bomb site more effectively. Here is an example of a smoke that you would use to delay a push when you're on CT side. Here you see it would delay the vision of your enemy, making your enemy scared to push long doors. Now here, I will show you a couple of common smokes really quick that would be useful in your games. First off, we're going to be starting off with Inferno. For smoking B, you're going to want to make sure you have a bit of banana control. What you're going to want to do is line up by the edge of this wall right here, and make sure your crosshair vertically is around the first and second block from this ledge right here, and horizontally by these leaves from this tree. This will be a coffin smoke that will allow you to block anyone that's holding a sniper angle here. Now the final smoke I'll be showing you on Inferno is a CT smoke, which comes really handy when you're trying to take B site. You're going to want to line up by the edge of this door right here. When you are aiming, you're going to want to aim at this smoke right here. You're going to want to move your cursor to the right of the smoke, just by a little bit. Around this area is fine, and you're just going to want to left click and throw your smoke. The next map we're going to be talking about is Dust 2. One of the most basic smokes you're going to want to learn is the A cross smoke. For this smoke, what you're going to want to do is line up against this wall right here and aim towards the bottom of this wall while running. This will almost always give you a good cross smoke whenever you're pushing A. A mid smoke that you're probably going to want to learn is also the Xbox smoke from top to mid. This smoke helps you whenever you want to cross the cat, and it covers you from mid doors. What you're going to want to do is line up with this mark on the ground while crouched. Stand up and aim towards the antenna, and then just left click. Now for the B smokes. First one we're going to be going over is a smoke on B plat. You're going to want to get up right next to this pillar right here. Then you're going to want to place your crosshair around this corner. Now you're going to want to make sure you clear your smoke, so you move a little bit diagonally like around here and just throw your smoke. Now the last smoke I'll be showing you in Dust 2 is B doors. For this one you're going to want to be right next to this box right here and aim around this corner, then just throw. Now you got B doors smoked out. Last but not least, we have Mirage. I feel like Mirage is one of the maps where smokes are really important to know. They really help you push out the A-bomb site. Now let's start off with the smokes. This is going to be the first smoke I will be teaching you. This smoke is thrown from the back of T ramp, and it's going to be landing on ticket booth or the CT cross to A. You're going to want to line up to the edge of this door right here and look at this wall. Try to find an edge that looks like a T and then jump throw. It will smoke off the CT cross so you can cross safely. The next smoke we will be talking about is the stair smoke. Here you're going to want to line up by the edge of this spot right here, then aim right here, and this will bound from Tetris platform straight onto the stairs. This is a good smoke so you know no one is peeking from the people that are going to be rushing out from Palace. The final smoke we will be talking about on the A site is going to be a jungle / connector smoke. What you're going to want to do is come up to this plank right here in the middle, and then aim a little bit to the left of this object. Then you could just left click and throw. This will smoke off anybody looking at A from connector or jungle. The next smoke we will be talking about is how to smoke cat from spawn. What you're going to want to do is get on top of this trash can and then aim at this point of the antenna. This will give you a good top mid smoke that will allow you to cross to the boxes at top mid. Another smoke you might want to do is the window smoke. This will smoke out a player that's in window, maybe holding it with a knob, and allow you to get out of this position of top mid. What you're going to want to do is get on this corner and light it up with the antenna. You're going to want to place your crosshair as high as the top of this box right here and throw the smoke. Now this is going to be the last smoke we're going to be talking about, which is a B smoke on Mirage. For this smoke you're going to want to make sure you're at this bar right here, and then you aim around here and then just throw the smoke. This smoke will be useful whenever you're trying to push B and you have a bench player that's holding B. Now the tip you've all been waiting for. Tip number 5, aiming. For this tip you're going to want to make sure you're aiming at the enemy's head as much as possible. Depending on how many FPS games you've played in the past will determine how good your shot is. Aiming comes with practice, and one way you can practice your aim is with the Steam Workshop map known as Aimbots. I use this map whenever I want to warm up and practice my aim before even playing a game of competitive, and I recommend if you're new to the game of CSGO, you should too, especially if you're new to FPS. I recently started my journey a couple months ago and I'm still kind of struggling with my aim, but I make sure to practice as much as possible and it really helps me out. Something you might also want to do is warm up with a couple of games of deathmatch, since your gun is always going to be changing and you're going to have real life targets. Another thing that goes into aiming is the spray patterns. Depending on what role you're going to be playing for your team, especially if you're a rifler, you're going to want to know the spray patterns of your gun. An AK-47 spray pattern looks like this. An M4A4 has a spray pattern like this. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and comment down below if you might want me to make any other video in the future. Also subscribe if you want more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.